Life has been lifing, honey, and for my oldies, you already know what's up. You know how it goes around here. It's obviously been lifing for you guys in the past or currently, hence why we are locked in and we have something in common. To my newbies, enjoy the ride. It's a bumpy one, but it's also an engaging and enlightening one. And, you know, we have fun around here. This episode was recorded in July 2023. It is now May 2024. Your girl has been going through it, but she's okay now. I've been in therapy for the past year, and I'm doing pretty well for myself. So whatever I was going through then, I'm not going through it now. So let's get into it, babies. This is Openly Expressive with your girl, Naisha. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Openly Expressive. This is season 3, babies. Not sure what episode this is yet, because I just be recording and not even paying attention anymore, y'all. But anyway, thank you for joining me. For my newbies, welcome. For my oldies, but definitely goodies, thanks, boobies, for your continued support. So, how are you people? Me, not so well. I think I'll entitle this episode, Change Can Be Lonely During Your Transition. I'm transitioning into becoming more in tune with myself, more in tune with God, Jesus, you know. And I realized that the closer you get to who you need to be in life, the closer you get to God. Sorry, first of all, excuse my background because I'm in the car. It's hot and I don't have privacy in my house right now because my daughter's there. But I just felt the need to record this for anybody who's going through something. Like, I really feel like crying right now, y'all. Okay, so anyway, I've dealt with so many things, right? And I always wound up coming to the conclusion that, you know what, this or they are not for me. And although I've come to that conclusion many of times, as we all have, I'm sure, we and I don't and didn't always make the right decision. And that would be either staying in a situation or with a person or a job or whatever it is for far too long. Or not leaving at all. So my situation is this whole daddy issue thing, okay? And to be quite frank and transparent with you guys, you know, a few years ago, like right before, I would say maybe 2 years before I married my husband, or maybe a year before, I'm not sure. I used to feel like a sense of guilt every time we were intimate, a sense of guilt because I knew, me being a Christian, me being in tune with my faith, that having sex without being married, it's a sin. So every time I was intimate with him, I would feel guilt during the process. Not even like, quote unquote, enjoying the moment. Because in my head, I kept thinking this is wrong. So I eventually became celibate for 8 months. And I stated my claim to him, like, I'm not going to do this anymore. We either get married or I'm just going to keep, me to myself and continue on my journey. And let me tell you something. It's crazy because when I did that, I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to be a sinner anymore. Was I wrong? Because once I made that decision and we both decided to get married, whatever the circumstances were that made us get married, it was under the wrong pretense. And I think more so his was out of guilt for how wrong he has done me in the past. And didn't want to lose me selfishly because I was like, listen, if we're not going to, progress in this relationship, we had already had our son. We had already had, So it was like, listen, I'm not the type to waste time. It was already a year in. We either gonna elevate in this relationship, or, we're gonna cut ties and you be a dad. But me being in New York City, that's not what I want to do. I don't like New York. I'm from here. It made me who I am. This tough exterior and everything else, because not only is the world cruel, but New York is so fucking cruel. Sorry, y'all. But, it's like, so people always, men, okay, not even people, men, let's do the quotes on each end of that word. You're hard, you're this, you're this whole thing that they have about women's roles, quote unquote, and what they think women should be like, and what they this and that. And the crazy part about it is, they like, quote, supposedly women of submission, women who keep their mouth fucking shut, women who do this, women who cater, women who whatever, okay? And when I love someone, when I'm in a relationship and I wholeheartedly love you, I do what I need to do that needs to be done in the relationship to please us both. It has never in the history of relationships with me been reciprocated. Never. And the sad thing is, people always be like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want that. And then when they get it, they totally mistreat it. Why? It's because you are not used to getting what you actually require. Why? It's because you are not putting forth the effort to be who you actually require in someone else. Like, the double standard of life with people is so ridiculous to me. And I'm just so fed up, because it's like I jump from relationship to relationship being a hopeless romantic, because ultimately, who don't want to be loved? Who? Even the players of the players. Yeah, I know I make my words up. Even the players of the players, they want to be loved. And they're acting out because they never got love, either when they was a child. Shit, let's just say it. Most people who are in this world walking around here taking out their being scornness on others, lashing out. And the crazy part is, you would think that acting out and lashing out is something of a child. These be grown men, grown women, lashing out, placing their, aggressions on everyone else, instead of taking that aggression and pain and everything else that they're going through and all their traumas, past and present. Instead of taking that and spinning it and putting a positive outlook on things by freaking going to therapy and having a positive outlook, like, listen, you know what? I've been through things in the past and I'm going to work on it now so I could be the best version of me, so I could be the best version for someone else. Oftentimes, nobody takes the time to heal themselves, and they end up being in situationships, relationships, whatever, with individuals unhealed. And then it's even worse when both parties are unhealed. So how are we going to heal each other? Listen, I can't heal you if I don't know how to heal myself yet. You can't heal me if you don't even think that you need to be healed. And I'm realizing the closer and closer I get to wanting to be the person that I not only want to be, but need to be successful in all avenues of life and faith, it's lonely. I am married and been separated, I think it's about 4 years now. He's doing him, I'm doing me, even though, it's a freaking sin. I felt awful every time I was engaging in a relationship with someone who I was with. I had a partner, and I wanted it to be what I thought it could be. And, they were a person who walked around with a whole facade. And it's finally ended 3 years after the fact. It's finally ended. And I'm just like, I'm disappointed. I want to say hurt, but I think disappointment supersedes my hurt. Because it's like, listen, you knew what you was getting into. You're getting, and the crazy part is, I left my husband because he was a cheater, only to be with someone else who was, I think, even more of a cheater, honestly. Because this person is very insecure. And people, I'm not even going to say ladies, people, I need you to know that whenever you are dealing with a person with insecurities, And I'm not talking about like little insecurities like, oh, I have a little pimple here, or oh, I have a little back fat there. I'm talking about major insecurities. The ones who were never really that attractive, or felt that they weren't that attractive, or made fun of, or wasn't that dude, or wasn't that girl, or, you know, those type of people, or felt inferior to others. Beware of those folks, people. Because if you do not beware of those folks, guess what? They will project all of their insecurities upon you. It will be upon you. And then they will do things to make their insecurities be masked. That's things like, you know, dress the part, quote unquote. GQ magazine, quote unquote. Be a ladies' man. Be a little thot. Be very promiscuous, because for some people, the plethora of sexual encounters, the plethora of people who they chop down and break their spirit, it bigs them up somehow. Somehow in their mind, it makes them feel superior because they have taken down another victim. And all of these people who they encounter in their lives, who they claim to be in relationship or relations with, they are not. They are just merely new victims. New victims to a person who has not healed. New victims to a person who will never confess that they need healing, because those are the people who have identified that they have a problem, or they are the problem. Me, I'm on my healing journey, and I finally realized, you know what, I acted out, I think it was last week. I popped up at the person's house. They was acting real aggressively, and I'm just like, I just said, like, I came to say what's up, but you doing too much of this. Somebody in there? And then I had an epiphany, like, girl, you're belittling yourself. You're degrading yourself. You're humiliating yourself. Not only are you doing those things to yourself, you're allowing someone else to do it to you, which in turn goes back to you're doing it to yourself. Because you know why? You know what you were getting into before you entered it. Now, it's different when someone is blindsided by someone's BS and you can say, oh, wow, ooh, that was a doozy. But when you already know what type of person or situation that you're getting with or getting into, shame on you. The gag is on you. And oftentimes we like to blame others for the shit that they do. I was trying not to curse. Trying to get better, y'all. But we often blame others for the shit that they do to us. But guess what? Let's stop blaming other people. Let's stop blaming other people. Take accountability and blame our damn selves. Blame ourselves for allowing the actions. Blame ourselves for continuing to engage with said thing or person. Blame ourselves for not loving ourselves enough to say, I'm out. Thanks for your services, and I'm out. And the double standard in life is a lot of men, okay? A lot of men don't have standards, but a lot of men have the audacity. And the thing is, they confuse the difference between the two. They confuse standards with audacity. In their mind, if something is not of their liking, instead of working things out, they put the thing or the person back on the shelf and get a new toy. That's not standards, my friend. That's audacity. Standards would be, okay, you're setting a standard for yourself and you live by those same standards, and anyone who doesn't meet those standards, then head the fuck out. That to me is a standard. When you dish out a lot of dirt and bullshit to people and then have the audacity to set rules of how you want the game to be played, and if it is not played and checkmated by you, you head the fuck out. That to me is not a standard. That's audacity. Because you're saying, you know what? I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that, it's not gonna work for me, I'm up out of here. You're not saying, okay, this is what I'm doing wrong, this is what they're doing wrong, let's come together and have a happy medium, come to a conclusion of where we can fix things, even if it's not a relationship, even if it's a job, or whatever it is. Come to the conclusion of what you can do to make things better, and if you come to the conclusion that you can't make things better, end it on a positive note. And that's my thing. I realized that this person that I'm no longer with, I realized that I ask God always, every single day. I ask him with my children, whether I'm driving them to school, whether we're just driving around, running errands, whatever it is, whenever I'm with my children, right? Every single day, we pray together. We pray for safety, happiness, health, abundance, and all of those things wrapped up in one umbrella. I want those in abundance for us. Okay? But we also pray for, I said this in another episode, but I asked for him to please keep all evil and negative-minded people away from me and my children. And when they pray it, I say keep all evil and negative-minded people away from myself and those around me. Meaning, if you're around me, I don't want anyone in our space that is negative-minded. I can't take that. So let's give an example. I have I wasn't even gonna talk about it, but I have recently connected with my ex. I think, I talked about him before. The one I said lived in Georgia. We got matching name tats and this and that. It was very toxic. But it's crazy because after I left him and came back to New York, I got with my husband and then this person that I'm no longer with right now. And it's just like, damn, I left that person in Georgia, but we had genuine fun. We were friends, but it was toxic as hell. But how the hell did I leave something that I thought was toxic only to get in even more toxic situations? And the crazy part is, it's like, damn, there's no way that this could be real life of leaving one toxic situation, leaving another toxic situation, and getting into an even worse one. How the hell does it get worse? And listen, my friends, I don't let men put their hands on me. So I know that it could get worse that way for some females. It doesn't get worse like that for me. Like, this person, to be honest, had shoved me a few times, had mushed me. And let me tell you something. I threw him across the room in his house and he flew into the table and knocked his whole Kennedy Fried Chicken or whatever it was on the floor off that table and was stunned. And I think another time he kind of pushed me or brushed up against me in an aggressive way. I forgot what he did, but homeboy got into the wall and whatever else was in his way got off the wall too. But why do I have to do that? Even with my husband, we had a fight. We had fights. He wouldn't hit me, but he would restrain me. Even with my ex, and I had to come to realize, like, listen, you cannot be with a person who has a temper like you. You cannot be with a person who knows your tick-tick booms and they purposely provoke it. And a lot of the times we need to realize that people will provoke the hell out of you to bring out the worst out of you because that is all that they are used to. They are used to getting their ass beat by their parents. And quite frankly, a lot of the times it ain't even parents. They're coming from a single mom household, single parent household. So a lot of the times they're getting their ass beat by their mother. And a lot of the times they're getting their ass beat by their mother because she is fed the fuck up about being a single mom and the stresses or whatever it is. And she didn't have a dad and she got daddy issues and her mom didn't properly cater to her or whatever it is. And she could be quite frankly taking that out on her kid. And so now the child is conditioned to the bullshit. And when it grows up, it just, repeats the cycle. So instead of maybe some of them do beat women. Those are the ones who saw it when they were children. And the women who get beat, those are the ones who saw it when they were children. I knew of my mom getting beat by my dad, but I didn't see it. I did see my step-pops push my mom through a damn door. And y'all know when it's a chalk outline, when it's a dead body on the ground, and it's a chalk outline, he threw her through that damn door so her body looked like it was a damn outline. And I'm looking like, is that an arm and a leg in that form of a door? Like, what the f*** is that? Seeing that as a child. But I thank God that I never witnessed anything like more than that to say, you know what, this is normal to get beat. I actually in turn did the opposite when my mom told me she got beat by my dad often, and I saw her get pushed by my stepdad through that damn door. I actually did the opposite. I was like, you ain't never gonna put your motherfucking hands on me. Not now, not ever. Now, I might be in your face in an aggressive manner. You might push me or something, and that's some bullshit too. But, you know, all of that beating on a woman, I don't play none of that shit. Even pushing me, I don't play none of that shit. You do it, I'm gonna lay your ass out. Male or female. And I've gotten into some damn trouble. Okay? Y'all know how I got locked up. I cut a boy's face one time because he called me a bitch. I cracked a girl in the head with a damn chair, a metal chair, because she called me a bitch and was flexing. Me and the word bitch and disrespect, I don't take kindly to disrespect. And I think it probably maybe because, you know, the daddy issues. I was neglected as a child. Damn near raised myself. My mom wasn't, you know, present. She had her little, you know, habits or whatever she was going through in her life because of her damn daddy issues. And the crazy part, she was in a 2-parent household. But let me tell you something, just because there's 2 parents doesn't mean 2 parents are present. Okay? And that's how it was in my marriage, to be honest. And I'm like, you know what, listen, if you're not going to be wholeheartedly here 10 toes down in this household because you got a damn side apartment the whole time, and we know what that was for, right, ladies and gentlemen? But let's be for real. If you're not going to be here 10 toes down every single day, then you ain't got to be here. Because me staying in a marriage for 10 fucking years, a tumultuous marriage, and I want to say the most toxic relationship I've ever been in my life, but now it's like this person that I just, you know, we not together anymore. And I knew him since I was 19, so, you know, it kind of hurts, but I thought that my marriage was the worst. But this person that I just parted ways with, and it wasn't even a mutual decision. Like, we didn't even, you know, come to the conclusion to part ways. It was just like we had our little whatever that was at his house last week outside, and it's ended. We don't speak anymore. And I played myself, and I texted him like a week later, and I called because I was trying to give him time to cool off, even though he embarrassed me and was acting all fool and, you know, irrational outside. And I'm just like, I put up with a lot of shit from this person because I knew him since I was 19. He was 30. So, you know, the whole older man syndrome. And guess what? She doesn't have a daddy, so she has daddy issues. So let's get a guy that's old enough to, you know, act as a damn daddy and I guess fulfill the role of what she hadn't ever had in her fucking life. But it's quite the opposite, my friend. Because guess what, y'all? He ain't got a daddy either. My husband ain't got a daddy either. The person who I was with, you know, my ex down south, he got a dad, but it wasn't like a healthy relationship. So guess what? 2 fucked up individuals without a dad. What does that mean? 2 fucked up individuals with moms who didn't do their mom due diligence on 100%. What the f does that mean? A disaster. A disaster. That's like damn electricity and water together. What the hell you think gonna happen? Like, I just don't understand. And I was sitting here crying. Like, I still feel like crying. I was in the supermarket a little while before I started this podcast episode today. And even putting my food on the counter, I was about to start crying. Randomly. Because I kept replaying in my mind how it ended with that person. And I'm like, damn, he was mad aggressive. And then I start thinking about the 3 years that we were in a situationship. I can't even call it a relationship. But the 3 years that we were in a situationship, where was the benefit? Where was the cherishing? Where was the respect? Where was the reciprocated love? Where was the fucking admiration? Where was the admiring? Where was the love? Like, where was it? And I think I was just so blinded and holding on to the fact of the what if. Like, we never even went on dates. And I was like, my husband and my ex in Georgia had talked about me, all my flaws and things like that. So it's like, okay, my Georgia ex has said something about my boobs because I had let's be candid here. I had breastfed all of my children. And ladies, be careful with that breastfeeding thing because they be talking about, oh, you breastfeed. It's the healthiest thing for your baby. They won't get sick. Let me tell you, my oldest I breastfed breastfed for her for a whole doggone year, and my boobs was on damn Medea time, okay? And I breastfed my other 2 children for a little bit. My first child, I breastfed her for a whole year, and my other 2, y'all get a few months, get up off this thing. But I say that to say that don't believe the hype of breast milk is the best, and it'll man, it make your titties sag like Medea's, give you a world of freaking insecurities on top of the insecurities the world has already freaking conditioned you to thinking of yourself. And then it's just like, my oldest daughter, she's been sick quite often in life. So it's like, really? I had Medea titties for what? But I say all of that to say my ex in Georgia had made me very insecure about it because, you know, when we were on our final, months of being together, we were arguing one time, as per usual, because he's an Aries and they're very argumentative. Shout out to Aries. I like y'all, but nah, I'm good. But I had a best friend who was an Aries too, but nah, I'm good. So I can't be with a person who is argumentative about every little thing. That's crazy to me. You want to argue about peaches and cream. You want to argue about, like, one time we had an argument about who made the Kool-Aid. I actually made it and he taking credit for it. I'm like, oh no, that's the batch I made. And he started arguing about that. You can't be with a person that's argumentative if you are a high-strung person. So y'all cool as friends, a little bit, but me being an Aquarius, nah. Me being an Aquarius, I'm very in tune with my zodiac sign, and I'm with zodiacs, and certain signs I know who the fuck to stay away from. Me and hot months, nah, we good. I can't do that no more. My husband was a Taurus, he's in May. My ex is in April, he's an Aries. It ain't that cold in April. And the person that I just parted ways with, he is a Leo and he is August. Let me tell you something. I thought that Tauruses was the worst motherfuckers on earth because my husband, my mother, hell no. And, a few other people that I've encountered in life, nah, that's not my cup of tea. Ironically, I have a new therapist, ladies and gentlemen. She's a Taurus and I wholeheartedly love her, but I think it's because we are like on a business-based type of relationship. Okay? I think if it crossed over to a personal, like she was my homegirl, said, nah, I'm good. I can't be with people who are dramatic and I'm good. So I've cut many people out of my life. But back to what I was saying, my ex in Georgia, we were arguing one time, and I think this is the most ignorant thing, because when I've ever, had exchanges with anyone, it would be on the topic at hand. It would never be to degrade or diminish a person and hurt them because you can't get your point across. That's the most ignorant shit to me. So my ex in Georgia and my husband, they have conditioned me to be the low blow, below the belt type of person, taking low blows and things like that in arguments, and it's ignorant and asinine. And quite frankly, if your intelligence meter is up to par, you don't gotta do low blows. I notice my husband is very ignorant, very childlike. Mindset is of a child and of an ignorant Bama. And it's just like, we were never intellectually in tuned anyway. So, of course, he's going to hit below the belt. If I use word like asinine, he'll think I'm talking about ass. So, that's the type of time he on. So, But, so the one in Georgia, we were arguing, and he pointed to my Medea boobs, and he was like, who's ever going to want that? So that stuck with me. My husband, one time after I had my son, we moved into a building full of skinny people, right? And it wasn't too far along from after I had my son. He's like, lose some weight. Who wants a fat bitch? Or who wants a fat chick? And then one time he called me a bitch. And one time he told me to suck his D. And it was just like, you're my husband and you're talking to me like that. My ex in Georgia told me, you're the weakest woman that I know. And it's crazy because we had reunited a few months ago. And when I brought all of these past things that he had said to me, all these hurtful things he's, inflicted upon me, I brought it up to him a few months ago. Everything, of course, was denial, or everything was brushed under the rug, or everything was supposedly a figment of my imagination, or, basically chalk it up. Oh, well. And so when I told him, I was like, yeah, one time you said I was the weakest female that you ever known. And he was like, what? That's crazy. You? Nah. And the crazy part is we reconnected because I have a homegirl, and her man, or her ex-man, is my ex-cousin. And I happened to call her that day. She listened to my podcast. Shout out to you, girl. You know who you are. And you know, when I called her, she was like, guess who's here? Her ex, you know, that whatever the situation is. But anyway, sorry girl, nobody know who, I ain't say your name. But anyway, whatever the situation has you, I spoke to his cousin, and you know, I called my ex. He gave me his number, and we were cool. And so it was that long lost, quote unquote, love. I was like, damn, we haven't been together for 20 years. We both remarried. I mean, we both marry other people. We both still have our names on each other and things like that. And it's like, you know, when you lose touch with someone, you break up with someone, you lose touch. And it wasn't on I did hate him. I felt like it was animosity on my behalf, because that was the first, like, very, very, very bad toxic relationship I've been in. And I also think it was because, you know, once again, two broken people coming together, you're gonna break yourselves even more. And that was the first. No, I lived with my oldest daughter's father for a while. That shit was, you know, that was terrible too. But it wasn't like mildly disrespect. It wasn't like aggression. It wasn't, I don't know. My oldest daughter's father now, I heard he be beating women and just a lot of things. A lot of crazy things that he didn't do to me. And I remember one time when he was in jail, he freaking carved my initials in his arm. And to this day, this man acts like he hates me 25 years later. This man still talks about me sometime in a negative manner to my daughter. And I'm just like, dude, you knew me when I was 16, 17. And then, like, he came home from jail after a 2-year bid while I was pregnant. You know, he got locked up when I first was pregnant and came out when I was like, our kid was 2. So it's just like, dude, do you really know me? And it's crazy because all of my exes, when they get to know the 40-something-year-old version of me now, they don't understand. So the reuniting with the ex in Georgia, he's like, you've changed. You've basically hardened. You this, you're that, you're mean. And I'm like, listen. First of all, I have conditioned myself because you guys have basically created a monster. Because with my daughter's father, I wasn't argumentative. I wouldn't argue back. I wouldn't say anything back. He would talk crazy. He wouldn't be disrespectful, but he would like stand over me, hover over me, shout at me. And I used to just sit there with my mouth completely quiet. Ironically, I have a freaking podcast now, right? And I talk. I guess I found my voice, huh? And I'll never change it. I will never change it. So the person I am today, my ex was complaining about it. Like, women are supposed to be this, and women are supposed to basically shut the fuck up. And all of these stereotypes of what they think that a woman should be. You know, all these roles, but get the fuck out of here, man. Because guess what? When I was submissive, when I was quiet, when I was catering to you, when I was cooking for you, home cooked meals in my 20s and earlier than that, when I was doing all of these things for all of you men, none of you motherfuckers appreciated it. None. It was disrespect and cheating. And my ex, he said he never cheated. He said this, He claimed I cheated on him. Homeboy, I didn't cheat. You were just staying in the house that we were in. You wouldn't leave. And it was what it was. I moved on. You didn't move on, literally and figuratively. Okay? So let's keep that funky. I normally don't cheat. I normally tell you I'm ready to head the fuck out. You don't want to listen. Okay, I'm gonna do me. If you still think you're in a relationship, then that's you. But you gotta go, boy. So anyway, that has ended. But I say all of that to say, like, when I finally reconnected with my ex, it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. I had missed him, and over the years he had missed me, and we thought about each other. Everybody was scared to reach out to each other because everybody was trying to respect each other, marriages and things like that. But you know, we both wanted to just, you know, shoot the shit. Hey, how you doing? Life good? Life bad? How's it going? You know, keep that connection. But his wife was insecure and felt the way about me, and I didn't want to overstep boundaries of somebody married, because I would never want nobody to do that to me. And ironically, my husband was a man whore. But, you know, I respect people marriage in their union. So I fell back once she found out that we had communicated many years ago. But it wasn't on no sexual pretenses. It was just like, hey, how you doing? You know, check in, this and that. But, you know, you know how in the Bible it says forsake all others. And that's literally what you're supposed to do. So, you know, we had lost touch. It was what it was. So reconnect 20-something years ago. Reconnecting now. it was different because he doesn't understand the person I am today. And I had to tell him, like, listen, when I was the type of person that quote unquote men desire in life, y'all took advantage of that. Y'all beat it up. And now, since I built up this exterior because it's my armor of protection from further getting hurt, why is it a problem? And I'm hurt right now, and I'm disappointed in myself right now because after my husband, I have built up an exterior to where I'm like, you know what? After my husband and my ex in Georgia, I was like, you know what? I'm not taking no more shit from nobody. I never was a punk. I never was a pushover, but I used to engage in the BS. So when I ushered into a relationship with this older gentleman who was 53, still claiming that he's 50. You're 53. When I was 19, you were 30. Let's do the math. I'm 42 now. How the hell are you 50? And that's just like my husband. This man is going to be 43 years old. Or I think he is 43. I lost track of his age because I don't care. But it goes to say, like, listen. Matter of fact, I think he is. But these are men who lie about their age. When he was in his late 30s, he used to lie and say he was in his early 30s. And I'm like, what the does it matter? If you look a certain age, okay, you look good, you look good. If you don't, then freaking fix it. But to lie about your age, that's an insecurity. Because these men like young women, and a lot of older men like young women, because you can fuck with her, you can mind fuck her, you can make her even more jaded than she was before she met your ass, because it's a control factor. Because the problem is, when I got with this person when I was 19 years old, it was just a little fling. He was doing him and I was doing me, but when we came together, you know, it was a little hot and steamy sessions or whatever. Weirdo used to have damn camcorders and shoebox recording sexcapades with females. He was on some R. Kelly shit. R. Kelly shit. And I used to be like, you know, I'm the type of person, if I deal with you, if I like you, I accommodate your needs, your wants, your desires. The shit ain't never reciprocated. So fast forward to 2020, when I moved back to Brooklyn, I, you know, reached out just like, hey, how you doing? To the older dude or whatever. His swag is what got me. His quote unquote persona, because that's what the hell it is, a freaking persona. It's a facade. It's not the real him. And the crazy part is, one time he just randomly said, sometimes people want things, and when they get what they want, it's not what they thought. And I looked at him like, is he like low-key talking about him and how he about to flip the script and be a piece of shit? Yup, ladies and gentlemen, he was describing him and what it was going to be like moving forward. Now, of course, at 19, I was smitten by him because he was the older gentleman. And, you know, like I said, the quote-unquote daddy issues. I'm about to write a book on daddy issues, y'all. I'm writing a book on breakups, relationships, healing, moving on, things like that, you know. I'm just, you know, I got a lot going on, people. But these things will come into play because, I mean, I've already started, you know, the manuscripts for it, or if that's what you want to call it. I've already started all of those things. I just have to put them together now. Also, I'm still freaking working on the law of attraction books, people. Bear with me, my friends. I'm a work in progress in life and in work, okay? But, you know, back to the daddy issue syndrome. So as I was saying, I was 19, he was 30, and I was smitten by that. I was like, oh my gosh. Because, you know, an older man sometimes, and even an older woman with a younger man, the older person has some type of, you know, their character come off as prestige. When in actuality, they're freaking assholes. They're controlling, mind-fuckable assholes. And, you know, when he was just my fling when I was 19, I didn't see all of that. I knew he was a womanizer for sure. That's why. And I even was pregnant. And I'm not going to lie, I had an abortion because I was like, I don't see myself having a child with someone who I'm not in an actual relationship with. Because let's face it, you could be in a relationship with somebody and then you wind up being a single parent because they wanted to head the fuck out. And the relationship didn't work because 9 times out of 10 they fucked up and left. Because responsibility for some human beings are too much. And for that person, I'm like, So anyway, let me be frank with you guys, transparent. To my loyal listeners And even my newbies, if you decide to, scroll down and find more episodes that you would like to listen to and enjoy, hopefully. I was saying how I was very sick one time. I was going through something health-wise. And No, it was a baby. I was pregnant. I had a miscarriage. That was last year last year, July. It's July now, too. I think that's why I'm emotional, too, because, it's the anniversary of that. So, I'm sitting here and I'm just, thinking about how when I got with this older person, I'm probably all over the place as per usual with my stories, but, guys, if you know me, you already love me because you continue to listen, and y'all know how I do. For my newbies, I'm going to need you to get used to it. My brain of thoughts, guess what? It be all over the place, my friends. You know why I do that too? My therapist, she get on my nerve. Well, not this new one. I had a therapist a few years ago, and she was like, I talk fast, and I tend to jump from conversation to conversation. And then the one who I just parted ways with, he said that too. But listen, why I do that is because you know how you be thinking about something, or you could be talking about something, and then something else comes to mind. And I'm a very forgetful person. Like, I have a freaking autoimmune affiliated with lupus, they say. And one of the, side effects or symptoms of that is sometimes I forget things. Like, I can literally ask my daughter something and then ask her again 2 minutes later. She's like, "Ma, you just asked me that," and keep doing it. Or I could lock my door and I'll go back and keep trying to lock it several times to make sure. Or I could check the stove, and it's like borderline OCD. Also, I think I have that also. And so it's just like when I ping pong from situations to situations, you just gotta bear with me. And I have a lot of stories in my life. I've been through so much shit, y'all, that I could be talking about one situation and it'll make me reflect on another. But back to this most recent person, it's just like, it's very toxic. It's very toxic. I was going over there. Every time I was going over there, we were drinking heavily. And I'm just like, I'm not even a drinker like that. I'm a Happy New Year type of drinker. Or she about to go out and shake her ass somewhere with her homies. I'm that type of drinker. I'm a social drinker. I'm not a let's drink every day. And he is a drink every day type person trying to mask his problems with stimulants. It never works, my friend. See, me, I didn't mask my problems mostly with stimulants. I did with weed or whatever before. But most of my problems that I tried to mask was with freaking relationships. I realized that. Like, me being 42 years old, you know what, y'all, me talking to y'all right now, like I told y'all before, it's my form of therapy, because I was feeling real fucked up before I got in this car to talk to y'all. I told you I was about to cry at the damn supermarket. And it was just like, me being in a relationship, I don't know if I feel whole, if it makes me feel like I'm complete, if I'm content. I don't know what it is, but it has to be the daddy issue syndrome, because I know that I was talking to my nephew the other day, and I love him. He's like in his 30s and stuff. He's a twin, and he has 2 other siblings that I'm cool with. I was really close to his sister, but somehow me and him, like, we became really, really, really close. Shout out to my nephew. He know who he is. And, I was expressing to him, basically my grief, what I'm going through, how I feel fucked up about it, and he was comforting and things like that. And everybody who I discussed this with, because this is not the only time I've been going through this with this person or anybody else for that matter, but anytime I ever express sorrow from a situation, people who truly love me, they comfort me, and I really thank you all. And even for the fact that you guys are my loyal listeners and even my newbies, I really thank you all, because I am a podcast host and I also am a friend in your head. To those who don't personally know me, I am a friend in your head. And guess what? You are friends in mine. Because a friend you can confide in without being placed on the judgment list. Because quite frankly, anyone who's judging you, those are the ones who would be judged at the end of Judgment Day anyway. We will all be judged. So How dare you judge me or anyone else? So that's why I feel so comfortable in being transparent on this platform, and you guys don't judge me. I get so much feedback and have gotten so much feedback on how positive like my podcast is, and even from men and women. And it's crazy because a lot of bad experiences, if not most, that I have been through has been with men. And it's just like, to have men as my loyal listeners and actually, big me up and shout me out and give me my flowers and stuff like that, that feels good. But it's just like, I don't even want to claim hurt. I don't even want to claim depression. I don't want to claim anything negative, because I don't need to speak that into existence, even though that's how I feel. And I feel this way because that person, I guess he filled the daddy issue void. But I was, like I said, I was talking to my nephew and I was telling him, basically two broken people coming together or trying to fix someone broken, as I said in another episode. If you try to fix something broken, it doesn't matter if you use Gorilla Glue or whatever the situation is that you try to tack that broken vase or whatever back together, you're still going to see the cracks. So until you actually try to make it new again, you can never make something all the way new, but try to polish it off as much as you can. And that's what I'm doing while being in therapy. And I also think that even the demise of the relationship, although it was toxic, I was used to it for the past 3 years. And sometimes comfortability, you can get comfortable in toxicity, because like I said before, that's all you know. That's all I know is to be in a toxic relationship. I've only been in one healthy relationship, and I don't even want to say that was like fully healthy, because eventually he tried to like live on me. He quit his job and things like that. But when I think about it, minus the job part and stuff, like, that person treated me like really well. Really, really well. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give him a shout out. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Mike. And I regret leaving that person till this day. But everything happens for a reason. Because he didn't want to fulfill his end of the bargain of, we're going to be in a relationship. You can't live off me. You got to pull your weight. Because I had just gotten ready to do in Georgia. My ex that I talk about, we had just broke up because he wasn't fulfilling his end of the bargain in the relationship, financially, physically, or whatever the situation have you. And I moved on. And the crazy part is, a lot of the times we move on to the same exact individual, if not worse. And then you got to be like, damn, should I have stayed? At least when I was with the other person, we was friends and we had a good ass time. So I be sitting there reflecting where I was. But I was sitting there reflecting, like, after I left my husband and the demise of this previous relationship and things like that. I used to be like, or even during that relationship, I used to be like, damn, should I have left the dude in Georgia? Because we was like ace boon coons. Fighting like damn cat and dogs. But we were like ace boon coons. But then I had to realize that was toxic. And I'm also realizing, and you should too, if it's any bit of toxic, get the fuck on. Get on. Because staying in any type of little signs of toxicity, guess what, guys? It gets worse. It gets worse. That's like, okay, you know how I like to make my little analogies or whatever. So say you have like a gas can, right? You poke the gas can, or somehow the gas can has a little hole in it. And as you're walking, a little dot comes out there, a little dot of gas. You walk up the next block, a little dot of gas comes out again, because the hole is not completely big, right? And then you get with this person who continuously jabs many holes into your can of gas. And then, since they're fiery, they light the damn match. Now it's boom. And you're like, well, damn, hold on. When I came before this relationship, I just had a little bit of hole in my gas tank. Just a little bit. It was, as long as nobody came close to me with the fire, shit wasn't going to blow up. Oh, you trying to poke more holes into the gas and you are the fire? I got to get the fuck out before you ignite. That's the mindset we need to have. Get the fuck out before it ignites. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Any sign of toxicity, it will ignite. It will explode. Any sign of toxicity, any red flags, we are oftentimes blind as hell to the red flags. Because that's what we're used to. I was telling my nephew also, listen, I think people gravitate towards, especially people with daddy issues. Women, first of all, we gravitate towards men. If your dad left, you're going to gravitate towards a man who's ultimately going to leave. He's either physically going to leave because he strayed, or he just checked out a relationship, or he is going to leave because you dismissed him, because he wasn't providing the things that you require in a relationship. Either way, he has left your life, willingly, being a willing participant, or involuntarily. Either way, he has left your life. And we keep repeating the cycle of getting with these ain't shit ass people. And this is not just for women, but we get with this ain't shit ass people because we are used to the ain't shit ass mentality. Because guess what? My mom was doing her. I had to raise myself. Although I lived with her, I mean, was she present? And when she was she positive or negative? She was negative. My dad was absent. I only saw him twice in life, as a baby, or however many times when I lived with him as a baby. And then when I was 10 years old, okay, let's say that. And then when I was like 21, 3 times. Okay. And on that third time, it was freaking like, you're trying to tell me to take provocative pictures because we're Native Americans and that's what they do to make the white man mad. So it's like, damn, I finally get my dad in my life and this is what you do, you shit on me. And then when I was like, Dad, that's weird. Like, what are you talking about? He wanted nothing to do with me. So that's just like a toxic ass relationship, because that is. You enter a relationship with someone, they do some fuck shit, you leave, and then you go back expecting a different result? Listen, people make mistakes, but people who are conformed to being toxic, they will never make mistakes. That's an on purpose fuck up. People who live off toxicity, they breathe, they move, they operate everything under toxicity because they haven't healed and identified that they have and are a problem. Get the fuck on, because it will only get worse. Tick, 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 boom. And I've been at the boom stages many times. And with this situation of us departing ways, although it was not, it wasn't a mutual decision, but since both of us not reaching out, then, I reached out, he wasn't receptive, and I shouldn't have. I fucking humbled myself and, played myself actually. But listen, we either was going to work it out and be in toxicity again, in union of a toxicity again, or we was just going to be adults and part ways and give me some closure. Now I don't even have closure, and I'm like, damn. That not having closure really fucks you up. So I say that too because when me and my ex from Georgia had reunited on the phone a few months ago, we were thinking about getting back together, and he was with somebody and I was with this person. We were going to cut people off, and he actually did. But it's just like his argumentative side is still there. Although he has changed a great deal, and I'll give him that, but his argumentative side is still there. His overbearing side is still there, and I can't be controlled. I can't be tamed. Because I'm not an animal and I'm not your property. I am no longer the girl that you can talk at. I am the woman that you can talk to. And if you do not talk to me and you feel that you are going to talk at me, case closed. Before, I would entertain the talking at. And we both be some at motherfuckers up in there. Now I don't do it. Now it's like, okay, you want to be combative and argue this and that? Okay. You want to sit there and be disrespectful or get loud? Or, okay, I'm out. Have a good day. Be blessed. God bless. So it's just like with this person that I just parted ways with, he was very disrespectful. And I'm just like, it wasn't even that serious. So oftentimes we need to notice that when someone is in a relationship or situation with someone and their demeanor completely changes, and they do a whole 180, and you're just like, okay, they wasn't all the way 100% with me from jump, but now you on some 20 to 25% with me. You acting real funny, you acting distant. The disrespect is there, the neglect is there, the I love you twos is more than the I love yous, and it's just like, ushered in someone else, huh? Because guess what? Most of the times when it's just, unless it's just like a really abusive person, but most of the times when people are in a relationship, even if they're going through whatever, it's still a level of respect. And then when you start ushering the disrespect, because let's be for real, no one wants to be alone and lonely. So you try your best when there's no other options and you don't have a roster and a plethora of other people. You try your best to work it out because you really don't want to be by yourself, and you kind of love that person, or you do love that person wholeheartedly, and you want to work things out. But the moment that other person checks out and ready to be, very dismissive and cold-hearted and things like that, don't be fooled, my friends. There is someone else. And even if they are going through something mentally, like they lost a person or they lost a job or things like that, I understand that sometimes people snap on people occasionally because they are going through something internally. But I don't do shit like that. Like, I'm not going to snap on you. If I'm mad at Brad, I'm not going to cuss out Tanya. That's not me. I don't do stuff like that. I'm going to keep it funky with Brad. And Tanya, we still cool until you piss me off. Now, don't happen to piss me off on the day that I'm already pissed off, because then you're really going to get the brunt of my aggression. But other than that, I don't take out my anger on other people who it's not geared towards. And quite frankly, I don't even be angry no more, y'all. I came a long way. And although I'm hurt and disappointed, I don't feel suicidal. I don't feel like in a state of depression. I don't feel hopeless, because quite frankly, I'll be transparent. It was maybe like 2-3 years ago, whenever it was, when me and the same person, he ushered in his toxicity again. I did think about ending it. And it wasn't even because of him. It was because I'm the type of person, I want to say was, because I don't want to keep being that way. But I was the type of person that every time, even yesterday I did it too, so damn. But yesterday was past tense. But every time that I have gone through something negative, I would even revert back as far as what happened to me as a child. And I'm like, damn, so I was neglected as a child, molested as a child, bullied as a child, wasn't loved as a child, things like that. Had to raise myself as a child, had to raise my brother like he was mine as a child, didn't have a childhood as a child. And then I bring all of these traumatic experiences into my adulthoodism. And I allow these new people to inflict their pains, their past traumas upon me, and it reverts me back to a child mindset. And then I think like, damn, when is it going to end with all the bullshit? So quite frankly, I was like, you know what, drive off the motherfucking road and let the damn brakes go and your hands go and just keep your foot on the gas, or take some pills. And I had to think about it like, that is the devil. And shout out to my sister Nicole. She actually called me, and we wasn't even that close. We love each other. We wasn't even that close, but she called me out the blue. And that was the day that I felt like ending it all, guys. And I have kids and everything, so what a fucked up, selfish thought to have. But I was just fed up with everything. It wasn't even because I was going with that person and we was not talking for 2 weeks. And, going from talking to somebody every single day to not talking at all, that's fucked up. That's a fucked up feeling, because people, when you talk to them every single day, you allow them into your life and they become a part of you. Whether it's physically or just by voice, they become a part of you if you speak to someone every single day. The good mornings, the good nights, the this and that. But then you have to also realize when those good morning and good nights stop or they diminish, you're like, hey, hold on now. If you're not good morning and good night to me, or talking to me for a whole day, where you at, homeboy? Where you at, homegirl? You ain't with me? Oh, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There was someone else. And since there's that daddy issues, she allows it. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, when there's a man with daddy issues, he doesn't know how to treat a woman. He doesn't know how to fully love a woman. He doesn't know how to be a dad because he hasn't had those examples of. So I won't even say that daddy issues just affect women, because they affect men as well. And fathers, they piss me off, the bad fathers, because they have no idea how important the role of a dad is, because you fuck up the world. You really fuck up the world by you not giving a damn about your children, and then the audacity to just like be a dad to someone else's children because you decided to not take on 100% of the responsibility that you are supposed to and are required to take care of your own blood offspring. But I think when you get with the others, the ease of not having to take care of that child, hold on, y'all. Because, sorry, I had to beat my horse. Some mom's backing up. I told you I'm in my car. But back to what I was saying. I think that when males move on and take care of other people's children, that they are involved in a relationship with the other woman, that it's a sense of ease. Like, listen, this is not fully my responsibility because they are not a part of my bloodline lineage. And, I can head out when I want to. But you did the same shit with your bloodline. The audacity of that. How stupid is that? So now you're creating even more fucked up human beings because you were a fucked up child. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to continue the cycle. Everything that you felt that when you were a child that was a part of your neglect and your trauma and your hurt and your pain and your every damn thing else that you did not like as a child, you decide to inflict that upon another human being, and the cycle continues. So now I'm sitting here with damn daddy issues. And I'm quite sure my dad had daddy issues. And all of the men that I was with had daddy issues. And all of the female friends that I have encountered had daddy issues. And my mom and my siblings and my everything else had damn daddy issues. Even with my siblings and my nieces and nephews. We all have damn daddy issues, but we all deal with it in different ways because it's all different calibers of daddy issues. One of my sisters knew my dad and had a relationship more than me. My other siblings, they had a relationship more than me. Some more than others, some less than others, but damn sure more than me. And when I sit down and think about all of my siblings compared to me, I'm the most fucked up one. From my dad's side to my mom's side. I'm the most fucked up one. Sorry, guys. I had to think about it. I'm the most fucked up one. Like, I've been in the most toxic situations, toxic relationships. I have been the most toxic in relationships compared to my siblings because, like, I've spoken to them. Of course, they have toxicity in their life or had toxicity in their life. And, but in comparison of mine, my life was fucked up, y'all. My life was fucked up. And I don't want to say it still is, but it ain't where I want it to be. It's not where it need to be. And I just had my little moment of crying, and it would have led to a whole, whatever. But I got to put back on my professional hat and give it to y'all. And make it freaking legible for y'all to even understand what I'm saying. So crying, that wasn't going to get it. I think I cried on my Roe v. Wade episode or whatever about abortions and things like that, my ex. But, I had to gather myself. And I heard that, if you take a deep breath, it stops. And it actually works, y'all. So word of advice, if you need to cry, or if you happen to cry and you don't want to at that moment, take a deep breath, my friends. And you will gather yourself back. Regather yourself. And I'm not saying that it's not good to cry, because definitely you have to get that out, because crying, to me, tears are liquid emotions. And don't be afraid to wear your emotions, ladies and gentlemen. But also, watch who you let see your emotions, okay? Because people who see your emotions, oftentimes, they play on your vulnerability. And I will conclude this episode, because it's like, I think the longest one I've ever created. So hopefully that you guys stuck around. Hopefully that you guys appreciated that me pouring into you and pouring out my stuff and being transparent. Hopefully it didn't deter you from wanting more and coming back as listeners. I definitely appreciate you for staying for the entire episode, and also for listening to others and being loyal listeners. I thank you. But I'll conclude this with saying, as I did in the intro, change can be lonely. Evolution can be lonely. But guess what, y'all? Me not being with that person anymore, it's allowing me not to be a sinner anymore. It's one step closer to me not being a sinner, because I was just cussing on here. I was just aggravated, y'all. That's another thing I'm going to work on, too. I'm just passionate in my words. But now it's allowing me to be celibate and get closer to God and do what I need to do. And I know I'm going to be blessed. I've been blessed thus far, but as far as like encounters with others, when it doesn't work out, I be feeling like, God, do you even love me? But for me to question God or Jesus, I'm a fool for that. Because guess what? Me and my children have a roof over our head. We can stick our key in the door of a place that we call home. Whether I own it or not, and I aspire to be a homeowner, but whether I'm a homeowner or not, I have a key to a place that I rent and I call it home, and so do my children. There's no one beating us. There's no one mistreating us. Once we leave the street, and we come into the house, we feel safe. No judgment zone. We feel safe. We feel loved. Because regardless of what we go through on the streets, we know we love each other. At night, we embrace I love you. Throughout the day, I love you. Randomly. Hugs and kisses. That's how I condition me and my kids. And as toxic as my mom was, she always gave me hugs and kisses and told me she loved me. Whether I felt it or not, and I still don't, and y'all know I'm distant from her right now. I'll check on her periodically, but it's not the everyday thing like it used to be. And she feels the effect of that. But hey, I'm preserving my peace. I'm protecting my peace. And I had to tell her that. I've created boundaries in life. And for those who don't accept my boundaries, it is what it is. I was uncomfortable with FaceTime, and my ex kept trying to pressure me, the one in Georgia that I reconnected. And I was like, you have to respect my boundaries. He doesn't want to respect my boundaries and flat out told me he's not going to. But hey, I could chuck up the deuces on that too. I'm no longer accepting people into my life. No more accepting applicants into my life from people who don't respect my boundaries and follow by them. Set boundaries, my friend. I'd rather be a lonely servant than an accompanied sinner. So, my friends, weed out those people and things that you need to weed out to get you to progress to the standards and the life and the way of living that you want to. I love you for listening. Take care. Get into God. Read your Bible. Follow the commandments, and whatever you're going through, I'm letting you know this too shall pass. Later, babies. Have a great, blissful, wonderful day. Until I chat again. Peace.